I say put mental health first, because if you don't, then you're not going to enjoy your sport and you're not going to succeed as much as you want to. So it's okay sometimes to even sit out the big competitions to focus on yourself, because it shows how strong of a competitor and person that you really are, rather than just battle through it.
We've seen increasingly that athletes are getting comfortable with the idea of discussing mental health and the idea of, treating their, state of mind, their mental health as kind of a body part in the same way they would attend to a sprained ankle or a pulled hamstring, that they are going to take time to recover if they're feeling any kind of mental duress. And I think it's a really healthy and productive conversation to have. Teams and franchises and athletes and coaches now treat physical injury different than they did a generation ago. The idea of just icing somebody down or slapping them upside the head and saying, get back out there and do it for the team is increasingly a fading notion. And mental health is sort of a new part of the prism here. The idea that teams would have an investment in not just the mental health that applies to their execution on the playing field, but just their general health and happiness is a new thing. And I think that it actually, in this case, in an interesting way, has been athlete-driven. It's the athletes who are coming forward and talking with great candor about their own struggles.
I think we're just a little bit too stressed out, but we should be out here having fun, and sometimes that's not the case.
In the past, we know that people have not talked about mental health, especially in the public realm, because there's so much stigma that exists. And while that stigma still exists, we see a lot of high-profile athletes talking about their mental health. On the clinical side, we also see a lot more cooperation with larger organizations to try and understand what it means to have a mental health diagnosis and what that might look like for their individual athletes. A lot of people think that athletes just appear and show us their natural grace and abilities. And while it's true, many of them have outstanding physical abilities and we love watching them perform, it takes many, many hours to get them in that place of mental toughness to be able to execute their skills on demand. So I think that it's important for people to understand that even though they see that public excellence, sometimes there's quite a bit of private anguish. It's important for people to realize that these athletes are humans first. They have emotions, they have lives outside of sport. So it's important for them to take care of themselves too.
We've already seen in the conversation that's happening and the elevation of the topic, not just in sports, but in workplaces at large, a real benefit for people to feel that they can have the liberty and the courage to come forward and have these kinds of conversations. That kind of comfort, I think, is a real important thing. And we've seen it in the past, that sports can often be a vessel for broader societal conversations. And I think that's what's happening here.